Anytime a code blue happens, we'll put out a notice on GroupMe, and then we have a new platform called Volunteer Local, where you'll actually go on and sign up for a shift. And that way, it was getting a little much to try and track who was working which shifts last year. This way you can go in there and see who's working which shifts, which times. If somebody cancels, you get a notification that tells you, hey, we need somebody for this shift, can anybody work it? Like, instead of me just sending out constant text messages like, hey, somebody can't be there, can somebody else fill it in? Like, this platform takes care of all of that for us. Everybody will come through these double doors, okay? So they'll come in and we'll have volunteers right here at this bar area, and that's where we'll do check-in. And I'll go over all the forms we need to get signed. One thing that's different this year that we didn't have to do last year is we are now legally required to search people as they enter the warming center. So we have wands. There will be a sheriff here, just like last year, but the sheriff will not be here all night. The sheriff will be here for check-in and for check-out to supervise the searches. So as people enter the warming center, we'll wand them down, and then we'll just have them open their bags. You don't need to put your hands in there, dig around, anything. Just open it. If you don't see anything obvious, just let them move along. Like we didn't have any issues last year. I don't expect we have any issues this year. If anybody does have like a pocket knife, for example, or prescription medication, I have a safe. They can keep it in the safe overnight and take it when they leave, but they can't have it on them while they're in the warming center. So that's something new from last year. If it's a prescription in the actual bottle itself, then they can keep it. If it's like a bag of pills, they cannot. And the sheriff will know that and be like, hey, we need that. We'll put it in the safe and you can have it back in the morning. It's got to be in a bottle. Just like last year, it's pretty much the same check-in process. We've got a volunteer book, a client book, and then a completed document book. So on the volunteer book, we have all the policies and procedures for the warming center in here, along with the non-disclosure agreements and the code of conducts. So every volunteer has to complete these just the one time. And then just put them in the completed documents folder, and then we'll collect those and put those into the state system. On the client side, same forms as last year. Every time they come in, they'll have to do an intake form. But then only the first time that they come in, they'll have to do a consent to release information form. So they only have to do that form one time. Once we have it, we don't need it again. But again, the actual intake form every time. This year, we also have a client expectations form that outlines the rules of the warming center. They have to sign that just the first time. Once we have that on file, we're good. We don't need it every single time. And then, completed documents here. I've got flyers, just like last year. We've got UTA bus passes. So there is a UTA bus stop right up 200 and right on the corner, so less than 300 yards away. So I've got 500 UTA bus passes. When we start running low, I'll just order more. You just pass those out so that they can get to and from the warming center whenever they need to. But then they'll come in, they'll do their check-in, and then we'll have a women's side and a men's side. So the way we were thinking of setting this up is this side will be the men's side, where we'll set up cots. And then basically from that TV over here to the middle of the room, down we'll have these dividers set up. And that will be the women's section, where we'll have cots. And then this section over here, we're going to set up tables and chairs, so if people don't want to sleep, want to play cards or just talk, can be over there. You can use both of those double doors right there to go outside, so anybody who needs to smoke or has animals that need to go to the restroom, there's grass out there and it's totally fenced off, so they can't leave. So they can go out there, smoke, let their dogs use the restroom, whatever, and then come back inside. Same kind of rules as last year. We open at 7:30, so we have 3 shifts, 7:30 to 11:30, 11:30 to 3:30, and 3:30 to 7:30. We're going to try and get 3 volunteers per shift this year instead of 2, because this year we have to have 30 beds instead of 16. I have no idea. Like last year, our biggest night was 20, but we did have 42 unique individuals access the warming center at some point last year. So I do think we'll have bigger numbers because more people know about it, and we're in a community where there is more homelessness. So I would expect we will have 50 cots here, so if we need to expand to 50, we can, but we'll start with 30. But I will leave a key here for volunteers to access this space. So this is the volunteer space where if you want to just take a break and not be out here with everybody and everybody's sleeping or whatever, come in here. So men's and women's, 3 stalls in each. We've got on the women's side, there's feminine hygiene products, soap, anything you could possibly need. And on the men's side, we've got Kleenex, toilet paper, whatever guys will need, just set up on the 2 ends of the hall here. Just like last year, we have a cleaning service that comes every morning, cleans the entire building. Laundry service that picks up all the bedding, cleans that, disinfects for bed bugs, lice, all of that stuff. So everything that we have, the next Code Blue is clean and ready to go. That door will be completely shut off. That accesses the back of the building, obviously, but nobody would be able to go out that door. So everybody's kind of confined to the space. All the blankets are down here. Sheets are either here. So pillowcases are on the bottom, pillowcases on bottom, top sheets on the top shelf. And then, supplies just like last year. And we'll have some bins, so rather than use the trash cans like we used last year, laundry service is actually going to bring some bins so we can separate the linens, and I can just pick them up, take them, and wash them and bring them back. Food I'll keep over there. I've got fridges, the same fridges we had last year, microwaves, coffee maker. The soups that were left over from last year are already put back in the cabinets over there. We're still in the process of stocking all this, but this is where most of the supplies will be in terms of like cleaning supplies. We're still trying to figure out how we want to organize like all the donations. Like I have a ton still left over from last year in terms of like coats and scarves and all that stuff. So we're still trying to figure out how we're going to organize it, but a lot of it will be up here or on that cabinet there. The light system here is pretty complicated right now, so it's either all or nothing. So maybe setting up some like lamps over in that area, so it's just kind of, there's a little bit of light but not much. But right now it's either I'm getting it all or I'm getting none.
So will there be a time that you say, okay, lights out?
10 o'clock.
10 o'clock.
10 o'clock is lights out. If you don't want to go to bed, then come over in this area where we can set up some lamps and you can play cards or socialize. Obviously try and keep the volume down. Kind of like it was at the I&M building. It's a big open space, and that's how this one's set up too. So there's not like private rooms like we had at the old DBH building. I think this year, we're just going to tell people straight up, if you leave things behind, it may or may not be here tomorrow. So don't leave anything behind that you don't want, because we can't just, like you said, we can't have all this stuff just keep piling up. Yeah, so one pet per household, no more than that.
And they could stay with the owner?
Stay with the owner. If the pet's aggressive though, or being overly obnoxious, then we gotta go. Just like last year. This didn't come up last year, but we're just anticipating more people. So we have an agreement with Davis Behavioral and Clearfield City PD. If somebody comes to the warming center and they're presenting as a danger to themselves or others, or just we have concerns, you can call the non-emergency line at Clearfield City PD, and a cop will take them to the receiving center that Davis Behavioral Health runs in Clearfield. That's something new for this year. Well, the deputy is only here at check-in and check-out, but if something comes up, there will be a radio here for you guys, so you can radio to the Davis County Sheriff's Office, and we'll get a deputy here ASAP.
Could you address the donation questions? I know there was a little.
Yeah, I mean, we've got a lot left over from last year. I've been getting a lot of phone calls from people. There was somebody who just stopped by today and dropped off that box of stuff. Like, we're pretty good right now. I've got a ton of shoes, a ton of coats, a ton of hats. I don't really need a lot. Maybe food, like that's what we have left over from last year. If people want to donate some soups and stuff, like I know that was a pretty big hit last year. Last year we had 39 Code Blues, most of which were 3 consecutive weeks in January, a couple in February, a couple in December, but plan on the busy time being mostly January and end of December and probably first part of February. Again, we're trying to get 3 volunteers per shift. I think I've got 275 people signed up on GroupMe right now. I'd like to try and get to 500, just so we've got a larger volunteer pool, because of that 250-ish people last year that we had, only about 50 or 60 people actually ever worked one shift. So if we have a larger pool, I think it'll be easier to try and get 3 people per shift and not the same people working a lot of shifts, hopefully. But yeah, I mean, that's kind of the operations of the warming center. Happy to answer any questions.